An electromagnetic pulse has just been generated, injecting a decompression agent. No, the level's not dropping. A spatial meltdown is inevitable. My lord, it's too late! We've got to take shelter!
Why, Solaris? Why do you refuse to listen to my voice? Elise!
Is that... Flame. It's Iblis!
And the Black Shadow is the original Mephiles.
That's Mephiles? They're escaping!
We'll have to split up. I'll pursue Mephiles.
Okay, then leave Iblis to me.
Wait. Seal it with this.
Hurry!
Welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 for the PlayStation 3. And as we've seen, we are now in the past. 10 years before Eggman attacked Soliana, before the many kidnappings of Princess Elise, we are now 10 years in the past. As such, Aquatic Base is... well, it has nowhere near as many of Eggman's robots as it did before, and by that I mean there is none at all. It is all about the Solaris monsters. And unfortunately, this is also where Silver's levels start to get quite long. So far, all of his levels have been pretty short. Again, Tropical Jungle I don't think was intentionally as short as we made it, but overall his levels aren't very long. But now they start to get very long indeed. And for some reason, when we switched to Shadow there, the camera went in the other direction. I'm trying to destroy this crate. Shadow. That was a good thing. Actually, I don't want to destroy that crate yet, but I already did. So, we now get to briefly play as Shadow, who is pretty much the same as Sonic. He doesn't have as many abilities, and his gameplay has more focus on combat than Silver. But, you know, really that... I like Shadow's gameplay. I think it's quite underrated, actually. I like playing as Shadow, not quite as much as I like playing with Sonic, but I do enjoy it. His homing attack is slower, and his overall movements do get quite annoying, actually, because you constantly hear the sound of his hover skates. You know, originally, you never heard the sound of his hover skates. You could hear them... I think Shadow the Hedgehog was the first one to do it, but it seemed rather inconsistent on when you could hear it. But you hear it all the time here. Actually, Sonic and the Black Knight does the same thing. That was rather inconsistent with it as well. But I really don't see the point of having us switch to Shadow, because we barely play as him during any of that. That's actually one of the few times you ever have to use one of those circle things to open up a case. But yes, this is where Silver's levels start to get long. A bit too long for my liking. And this is actually the shortest of the three, I would say. Because, well, this level's long, and then Kingdom Valley is long. The best part of Kingdom Valley, funnily enough, is when we switch to Sonic. But then we have Flame Core after this, and that level, I never look forward to Silver's Flame Core. Sonic and Shadow, yes. Silver, no. And it's because of the length of Silver's levels that I don't like playing as Silver. I just don't. Aside from the fact that his abilities are rather limited. Okay, I didn't want to grab that. But it just doesn't interest me, and it doesn't help that his levels start to get quite lengthy. But because we are chasing after Mephiles and Iblis, or Solaris, we're now introduced to the new type of Solaris monsters. Well, I say new. I don't know what Silver did there. we've sort of seen them before, but we've seen them in their Iblis forms. We now have the Mephiles monsters. Now, at first they may just seem like a colour change. But not only that, they're also twice as strong as the Iblis monsters. Because what we see here, these are the Iblis golems. They take 2 homing attacks from Sonic when their core is exposed, their weak spot is exposed. They take about 2 homing attacks. The Mephiles versions, which are known as Titans, not to be confused with the ones from Sonic Unleashed, they take 4 hits. As such, they take quite a bit of beating. It doesn't take too long, but they do take quite a beating. As we just saw a bit earlier on, we have purple variations of the Iblis Takers. I don't find them to be quite as annoying. The fact that they're out, the way they still appear out of the ground is still annoying, but I don't find their attack to be as annoying, despite the increased range. And even when you stun these guys temporarily, you still can't actually grab them yet. But yeah, they have a very odd attack that you wouldn't think would even exist with a living creature. Because they can actually fire a laser. I wouldn't exactly say they accurately aim with it. Because they sort of just move their head around hoping they hit something. But most of the time you get hit by them, it's going to be when you can't see them because they're behind you. The Iblis Worms and the Iblis Takers also have their own variations. Again, the Mephiles Worms, they aren't really any different. They're pretty much the same thing, only they can withstand more damage. The Mephiles Takers, if that's what they're called, they have a slightly different attack. Their projectile is different, and it moves slower, but it's bigger. Alright, but unfortunately, we don't have a purple gem with us, so we actually do have to ride this silver ball with silver, which again, in the Xbox 360 version is a lot more reflective. You can actually see silver, it reflects off the ceiling. That doesn't really happen here. It just has these colours, regardless of where this thing moves. It's like a certain part of the ball has the reflection of the lights. This thing doesn't quite slow down as fast as you would hope it would. And there we go. It's really not that hard. You just gotta watch out for the lasers, and I did nearly hit a few of them because I couldn't really see where the things sticking out of the walls are. That's what you gotta look for. Look for the little orange things sticking out of the walls. And now we gotta try and avoid the lasers here. Great! Yes, Silver, we know. Anyway, here we are. Mephiles Takers. I don't know if that's their official name, that's what I call them. The purple Mephiles version of the Iblis Biters, they're known as Stalkers. I'm not sure why they decided to give them different names. Why not just call them Iblis versions of their own names? But some of the Mephiles ones I do think have better names. Iblis Biter and Stalker. I prefer the name Stalker. It sounds like it's actually hunting you. And I prefer... Well, I wouldn't really say... Well, I don't really find Taker to be an accurate name for them anyway. Ugh. See, I hate that fire breath attack. I find the lasers easier. And yes, you can shoot those things at the enemies. If you gather up a load of those silver balls, they'll just all come together to create a bigger one. I don't really think that has... It might make a difference to the actual strength and how much damage it does, but overall it's like a load of projectiles just becoming one projectile. Yeah, I don't like that. Usually I only grab them by accident, and unfortunately they're everywhere here. See again, that if I was a bit further ahead, I would have just gone right into them with no given warning. So we are now in the second part of Aquatic Base. Again, really do like this piece of music. Because I know I've said this enough times now, and I'll say it again and again. This is my favourite soundtrack in the Sonic series. I absolutely love this soundtrack. Oh, come on! He was dead! He was freaking dead! No, that was not fair. He was dead. Ugh. Again, a lot of the time I get hit by silver because, you know, I can't homing away from these things. Homing attack away from these things like I can do with Sonic and Shadow. I'll still get hurt a lot of times with Sonic and Shadow. And a lot of them will still be in unfair ways, but a lot of the time it's because silver has to get so close to the enemies that I just end up taking easy hits. And that's why that's the main thing I don't like playing with, main reason I don't like playing with silver. What on earth? Okay. No idea what's going on there. I want to kill them. Yeah, do be aware, sometimes Iblis takers and Mephiles takers, they will charge at you at times. A lot of the time it will be when you can't see them. One of them's stunners, this one. Try to grab him. Oh, I didn't hit any of them. Yeah, these ones here are better off just trying to avoid them. I don't even know, I'm just trying to kill them because I like points. There we go. Alright, this section... Yeah, just time it properly, you should be okay. Probably get across the whole thing, really, if you use... keep pressing the button. No, we gotta do this again. I don't want to do this again. I don't like this thing. Again, silver. Very easy to get hurt. What the heck? Okay, but anyway, thankfully I can get back over here. Oh, there's a silver medal there. Fun fact, there's a silver medal there. I don't even know what caused this thing to break. There was no lasers there. Yeah, again, try and... If you can hit these things, they should be able to destroy the enemies. I don't know. These Iblis take... Oh no, they were close enough. I thought they might have been too far away. The range of that thing is probably bigger than you expect it to be. Okay, this thing seems to be teleporting. I don't know how it's getting to these locations. I hate the placement of some of these silver medals like that one. Correction, silver. It is underwater. It still is underwater. So yes, it's underwater. And the fact he's questioning it, it's not even like a matter of stating the obvious, well it is, but he's questioning it. It's pretty obvious that the thing is underwater. This place is underwater with more water in it. With water that is somehow flowing into itself. Like that water is clearly flowing in multiple directions. It does it in Kingdom Valley as well. Oh god, there's two of these guys. Come on. Expose your head so I can kill you. Whoa, that was close. Die! Die! I hate this. Why must they have that weakness? At least with them there's an obvious weak point. I don't get what's going on with the those giant Eggman robots where somehow their arms, be it proper arms or a ball, and how they have to lose both of them in order to lose their shields. I don't get that. Yeah, go on, Silver! Go on, Silver! Go on, Silver! There we go. That slowdown actually made it look quite epic. Again, it's not to make it look epic, it's just there. You look at the credits of Sonic Generations in Crisis City, that slowdown isn't there to make it look epic, that is actually part of the game. No, I'm thinking of Shadow. There will be an enemy that will spawn there. If you're fast enough, you will get the points, even if that one appears a lot later after hitting this thing. I don't know why it drags in the silver balls. I never understood why it does that. Thankfully, I was temporarily walking on the laser for a moment there. I don't know how I just did that. But we're almost at the end here. Again, aquatic base of the final 3 levels with silver, it is probably the quickest. Not to say that this level is quick. I mean, we have been here for over 11 minutes now, but overall this level isn't too bad. It's the next ones that are where the levels really start to get lengthy. That was a bit weird. I couldn't really tell what was going on there. Die! Do be careful when they lunge their heads. I have been hit by them many times when doing that. Especially when using the shock bracelet, because, of course, silver does come to a complete halt when using it. Yay, gold ring! I'm just going to collect these last few rings. No, I'm not. I just want to end. Come on, silver. Teleport dash into the gold ring. When I was doing a little setup practice a moment ago, actually, I was redoing the battle against Sonic. Whoa, that's a good sign bonus. I was redoing the battle with Sonic, and I was doing a teleport dash right when it went into the the results screen, Silver was actually still glowing when he went into the results screen. I thought that was pretty cool. All the way up until the end. It wasn't like the meter ran out or anything. He just kept glowing. It was pretty cool. I've never seen that happen before. But anyway, some of you may be wondering, how did Elise get that blue medal? Medal? That's a funny looking medal. The blue Chaos Emerald at the beginning of the game. Well, here's the thing. The blue emerald essentially goes through a loop. Because Elise has it, then Sonic has it, then Eggman has it, then Silver has it. And now, we're about to find out how Elise had it in the first place. Because as it turns out, it's thanks to Silver. So, it just goes in a complete loop.
Hey! What are you doing? You've got to leave!
I have my duty. This living flame has been entrusted to the royal family. The flames of disaster will awaken if nothing is done. That must not happen.
How'd you get here as fast as me? I took the elevator. Oh, what? There was one of those here?
Eternal Sun. The living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family. Fall into slumber with a royal soul.
Father of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Father of the Year.
Sorry, but can you take her to a safe place? That's a good girl, Elise. Remember, be brave. Don't cry, no matter what happens. Otherwise, your tears will call forth the flames inside you. Become a strong queen who doesn't cry no matter what happens. And live happily.
So we're supposed to believe that a 7-year-old girl doesn't cry over the death of her father or for another 10 years. I find that hard to believe.
Did you do it?
Yes. And you?
Yes. The flames are properly sealed. It's done.
What's preventing Elise from just peeing out Iblis? Or sweating him out? Why does it have to be tears? What if it's tears of joy? Or spitting? That would be interesting though. Elise just pees out Iblis. Or worse.
You're going to leave it behind?
Yes. I already know what becomes of it in the future. It's time to return.
Yes, of course. Chaos Control! It's a lucky charm.
And that's how Elise got the emerald. Meaning, in terms of plot, the blue emerald doesn't really mean anything. Then again, most of them don't.
Blaze!
What did you see?
The Iblis trigger wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog.
How did Blaze know to? How did she know to be here?
Do you think she's in danger?
They're quite noisy.
I never saw something like
Yes, I heard that the princess here left for Dr. Eggman's base in response to his earlier threat.
What if his ultimate objective was to release Iblis?
So, why did the Chaos Emerald show Sonic? Like, I don't get that. What caused the Emerald to show Sonic? If Sonic wasn't responsible for this. I mean, technically we find out he sort of is. But I still don't get why it showed Sonic. But yeah, how did Blaze know that that's where Silver was going to appear? She didn't even know he travelled back in time. So how did she know that was where he was going to turn up?
I'm going to stop Dr. Eggman no matter.
But anyway, before we move on, it's time to stop this part, so I will see you guys next time, where unfortunately things are going to get kind of familiar. Only thankfully they're more tolerable than Sonic.